Hey everyone, Chris Chunky back with the final part of my Spider-Man PS4 review. This time is gonna be the last DLC, Silver Lining. Now, before I start, the the heist and turf wars, there will be spoilers for Silver Lining's main story. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then don't watch the video. But I'm gonna focus mostly on the main story. I'm not gonna talk about the side missions and what they have. I'm just gonna talk about the main story, and that's it. And I will admit, I had to read on the wiki to find out how the plot was again because it's been a while since I played Turf Wars, and the fact that I don't have Spider-Man PS4 anymore, I have since traded it in. Unfortunately, I mean it was still a great game, but well, there was like nothing else to do in it. So anyway, let's just begin. Now, this obviously Silver Line takes place after the events of Turf Wars. Of course, we do see where Mary Jane Watson goes over her notes about the events of Turf Wars and what happened to Hammerhead. But first, she talks about Yuri, who almost kills him, and how Yuri Watanabe is forced to go on administrative leave, and that Hammerhead was somehow resurrected by one of his henchmen in an ambulance, and he escaped. After that, we see Spider-Man going to stop more of the Magia members who have Sable's tech and weaponry, and he managed to take down most of the men except for one who flies away with the cop. So Spider-Man gives chase to the top of a factory building, and he's able to take down the goon, the Magia member, and save the cop at the same time. Until Silver Sable arrives, and she demands to know what happened to what her gear is. And so, when she. So Spider-Man tries to. Now, again, it's been a while since I played Silver Lining, so I don't really remember much of it, but I do remember Silver Sable returns, and she demands the Magia member to know where her gear was. Spider-Man tells her it's not, and she's about to execute him, but Spider-Man tells her it's not worth it. They both get into a fight to where Sable decides to find Hammerhead herself and take him out and get her gear back. In which Spider-Man decides to try to prevent her from killing more Magia members and turning the city into a war zone. So he follows her, manages to find a convoy of Magia members driving trucks, and tries to stop him. Unfortunately, Sable finds out about this and starts to destroy the trucks. With no other choice, Spider-Man decides to restrain all the Magia members that are in the trucks and stop Sable. Though she eventually causes the tow truck to capsize and is about to execute one of the Magia members, but Spider-Man stops her and says that they need to work together to stop the Magia. Unbeknownst to him, Sable actually puts a tracker on him, and soon, without him knowing, when Spider-Man finds another Magia member, not in a truck this time, he decides to get some information. But of course, because of the tracker, Silver Sable is able to track the location and get information about Hammerhead, and decides to meet. And he's saying that Hammerhead wants to meet Sable on the top of a building, and so she decides to go confront him. Spider-Man, of course, tries to tell him it could be dangerous, but she is determined to, get her gear back and stop Hammerhead. So Spider-Man has no choice but to go after her. When he does catch up to her, she has fallen into the trap and she is fallen into Hammerhead's trap, and she reluctantly has to help Spider-Man not only stop the Magia members, but also free her jet. And that's when Hammerhead arrives with a new cybernetic body obtained that was from an experiment called Project Olympus. And he fights them both. But because of his new cyber body, he overpowers both of them and is about to kill Spider-Man, but surprise, surprise, Black Cat comes in and manages to save him. So Black Cat survives and saves Spider-Man, and with both of them with both him and with both of them with both Peter and Felicia reunited, she gives Spider-Man a drive about Hammerhead and apologizes for what she did, but as well as calling it even between her and Spidey before she departs. That's when Spider-Man finds out that Hammerhead has kidnapped Sable. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for stuttering. Like I said, it's been a while since I played Silver Lining, and I will admit this. I think too fast. So if I'm about to say the wrong words or if I stutter, I apologize for that. Like I said plenty of times already, I'm not scripted, so if it's irritating a bit, I apologize. But anyway, Spider-Man finds out that Silver Sable has been kidnapped by Hammerhead and is being tortured in a sewer line for information for more gear. Spider-Man manages to locate these sewers where she's being held at and rescue her. And after taking down more goons around them, he decides to use the drive that Felicia gave him to find out how to defeat Hammerhead. And as it turns out, both him and Silver Sable find out that heat needs to weaken Hammerhead's gold plating in order to take him out. So they decide to team up to take down Hammerhead, and Silver Sable tells Spidey to meet her on a new base on the river near New York City. That's where he finds out that she's attached a new laser to take down Hammerhead. And after a while, Hammerhead arrives. Spidey fights Hammerhead on the ground while Sable fights other goons from the air. Now again, I might be mixing this up, I apologize, but I've already said it twice, but I'm just going to say it again. It's been a while since I played Silver Lining, so I don't really remember much of it. But eventually, she ends up weakening Hammerhead while Spidey holds him down. But unfortunately, there's a malfunction in the laser, and she decides in order to defeat Hammerhead, she has the jet fly into him. While she gets out, of course. So after Hammerhead's defeated, she thanks Spider-Man for the assistance and, of course, gives him a ride back to New York. Now, I forgot to say this, but it is said that there is a civil war in Silver Sable's hometown, and that more of Hammerhead's Magia members are taking more gear from her into different sewer lines around the city. And the fact that Mary Jane has to go to what was it called? Her home country? Has to go to Silver Sable's home country to report about the civil war that's happening. Of course, Peter is obviously worried about this, but he allows her to go. But yeah, after that, the whole rescuing Silver Sable and helping her defeat Hammerhead and getting a ride back home, the rest of that happens. So yeah, and of course before the credits, after the DLC has ended, there is a tribute to Stan Lee. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. And for the post-credit scene, Miles is with Peter, continuing his training, wearing a Spider-Man mask similar to Peter's mask. And it ends up with Peter web swinging and Miles falling behind. Now, all we see Miles do is just jump off the building, but then the screen cuts to black, so we don't know if he is able to use his web shooters or something. But yeah, that's pretty much the story of what happens in Silver Lining. Now, for my thoughts on it, it's actually better than the a bit better than Turf Wars. And now some people have said Turf Wars wasn't as good, but still, it wasn't. Silver Lining was great. It was actually a great conclusion for the Spider-Man PS4 game, as well as the DLCs. It was really great. But of course, and you know what? Actually, I did say I was going to talk about only the main story, but that's already done for. So you know what? I'll just talk about the side activities. So of course, there's normal city side missions that you can take on, and Screwball again. And I can, like I said in my previous two videos, I can see why people hate Screwball. And you know what? I hate her as well. But at least you finally get to take her down and send her to jail once again. But still, Screwball was a terrible character. And not to be mad at Insomniac, but what if instead of Screwball they brought back, what was it? Oh yeah, they brought back Taskmaster. If they brought back Taskmaster instead, it would the DLCs would have been better. But Screwball she just sucks. She just sucks. She sucks badly. Okay, that sounds wrong, but she's the terrible character, and Taskmaster is better. 10 times better than Screwball. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the main story as well as some of the side missions. And as for the new suits, if I can remember, there's the Cyborg Spider-Man, the Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man suit, as well as the Aaron Aikman armor. But of course, the update gives us the Sam Raimi suit, and I will say to them now, while it would have been it was awesome that they put the Sam Raimi suit in the game, but the fact the people were pestering Insomniac Games for the Raimi suit, it was just ridiculous. The fact the people who are pestering Insomniac off for just one suit. Now, yes, the Raimi suit is iconic, and it's mostly how people were introduced to Spider-Man, but still, people, you shouldn't have pestered Insomniac Games like that. It was almost certain that they wouldn't release the suit. Almost certain. I mean, yes, they released the suit, but, well, you guys pestering them like that? It was unnecessary. Even I wouldn't pester Insomniac Games for the Raimi suit. So, yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Now, again, I most likely must have missed some things during the Silver Lining DLC. So, again, tell me in the comments what I missed. But anyway, that's pretty much it. The Silver Lining DLC finally finished. Finally reviewed, I should say. And that's it for the Spider-Man PS4 game, as well as the DLCs. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time. Oh, and of course, I apologize for all the stuttering and pausing, because again, I'm not scripted. But anyway, that's it, guys. See you later.